Good afternoon, gentlemen, ladies, and others. I hope there are no others. You may take your seat. You may take your seat. First of all, I'd like to greet our Dean, Colonel Santos Mera. Thank you for inviting me this afternoon. I also like to thank him for his very generous introduction of me. I cannot think that he can still remember. About 30 years ago, we were together. Talas pa rin ang memorya ni Sir. Alright, so I'd like to make a survey before I begin. Survey so that I will know where to concentrate my talk on. How, more or less, what is the age bracket of this audience? You don't have to answer. I will surmise that you must be between the ages of 20, 21, 22, something like that. So you are now in more or less third year, second year, or probably graduating. All right. I scanned your curriculum before I prepared my lecture, and I found out that there are some subjects that are pertinent or touching on the legal profession. For one, I saw that you have this subject on basic is professional conduct and ethical standards, which lawyers also have. Criminal law. So you must have taken criminal law. Criminal procedure and court testimony. That is in your fourth year, second semester, I think. And criminal procedure, fourth year, second semester. And court testimony. And so, I prepared topics pertaining to these subjects. Probably you have taken this already or you will be taking, so you will now have an overview ahead of the others. All right, so before we touch on the subject matter proper, which is the Code of Professional Conduct, I'd like to introduce to you, or probably you have known already since you were in high school, you have this study on Constitution of the Philippines, Rizal Works, and other subjects, maybe preparatory to where you want now. In fact, I'd like to ask a question to all of you. Where do you see yourselves in 10 years' time? Saan nyo, ano palagay nyo, after 10 years or 5 years, sige, 5 or 5 years from now, where do you see yourselves? Probably, some of you will be joining the force. Or some of you will be practitioners in your field. Or probably, some of you will be kasambahay. Sorry. Some of you will be in the military or in the hospitals because this will involve forensics. Is that right? Forensic, and I cannot deal with that because I do not have a background in forensic. Although I taught legal medicine in the National University for 2 years, but that was a long time ago. And this is quite new to me because I've been teaching in the National College of Business and Arts for 4 years in the 90s, during the 90s. But now, I'm back to the podium and discussing some academic subjects. As I said, before we go to the subject matter proper, we have to know what we are dealing with. First, you have to know the basic law. What is the basic law? Anybody? Oh, yung mga graduate ng laude cum laude, mga with honors. What is the basic law of the land? Our Constitution. Yung sa ligang batas yan eh. Every Filipino, you are already the voting age, right? So, everybody who must have voted during an election or during a plebiscite or during a constitutional referendum or whatever, you must have known the Constitution, the contents of the Constitution. Because that is our social contract. All your rights are based on the Constitution, all the rights of every citizen, and the system of government. Because what is the use if you're studying criminology if you do not know the basic law? All right, what is the basic law? Okay. First, we go to our system of government. Our system of government is a democratic government with popular representation because of the elections. And is composed of 3 main branches of the government. I suppose you know these 3 branches. The first branch, the executive. Who is the head of the executive? President of the Republic of the Philippines. Next branch, let's talk about the legislative branch of the government. Who is the head of the legislative branch? Senate President. Now, the third branch is the judiciary. And who heads the judiciary? The Supreme Court. The judiciary is the Supreme Court. But who is the head of the Supreme Court? Is the Supreme Chief Justice. These 3 branches are all co-equal in the sense that all of them are equal in their own respects. The interplay is this. What does the legislative do? The legislative department, the Senate and the Congress, they make the laws. Silang gumagawa ng batas. After that, where does it go? It goes to the executive department, to the office of the president. Why? Because if they are mere laws and they are not acted upon or they are not executed, what for do they make the laws? So it is the executive department who implements, who executes the law. It is the power of the executive to see to it that all laws are properly executed. I-execute. Hindi lang basta papel yan eh. Kaya nga batas yan eh. And then what? What does the judiciary do? Di ba, co-equal sila and coordinate. Equal and coordinate branches. What does the judiciary do? The judiciary tests if the law that was passed is constitutional or not. So, if a law was passed and it is subjected to a test of constitutionality and it fails, then it is not to be executed. So you see the interplay of the three departments. Check and balance. Yun ang factor. Yun ang key. They check each other. The judiciary checks on the acts of the executive and the legislative. The legislative makes the laws, passes it to the executive for implementation. The executive and the legislative, they control the budget. Kung walang budget, walang kagastusin ng gobyerno. So they hold the purse. That is how the system works. Coordinate, co-equal. So neither branch is on top of the other or superior than the other. Because each has its own functions. That is the system of our government. Now, why am I discussing this? Is this important to you? Yes. Why? Because if you, future professional criminologist, want to enter the service, probably, where will you be in those three departments? Will you be in the executive? All right. Executive department. Why? Because as law enforcers, the Philippine National Police is a part of the executive department. Probably, some of you will not join the force, the National Police. You will join, who knows, the judiciary might employ criminologists. Or the legislative department might employ criminologists. By the way, are all of you leading to the degree of a criminologist? Is this the course? After this, you have board exam, right? All right. All right, so you will be professional criminologist. Okay, so even if you do not join the force, you might be exercising or practicing your profession. But in any event, the code of professional conduct must always be maintained. If you have taken your oath, you will swear to these duties and obligations. Now, I will now go to your, by the way, later on, so you will have a clear understanding of how this system works. First, I'll discuss to you the 5 pillars of the criminal justice system. Well, probably you have known already the 5 pillars of the criminal justice system. First, law enforcement. Okay. Galing niyang bumasa, no? Law enforcement. The pillar is the first point of contact for offenders responsible for detecting crimes and making arrests. So here you go. The Philippine National Police and the National Bureau of Investigation are parts of this first pillar of the criminal justice system. Second pillar, prosecution. Not persecution, prosecution. Because there's a lot of difference between prosecution and persecution. Who are the prosecutors? These are members still of the executive department. They are not from the judiciary. From the executive. They conduct preliminary investigations and prosecute cases in court. Not because they are in court, they are already in the judiciary. No, they are prosecutors. During our time, we call them fiscals. O if yung mga tatay nyo siguro, mga lolo nyo, Tawag nila itong piskal. Nabot ko rin yung piskal din. But now we call them prosecutors. Who are these? They are the provincial prosecutors for a province. City prosecutors, if they are in the city, and municipal prosecutors. All of this, they have assistants. If you have experience, if there are arrests or cases to be filed, criminal cases, we are talking criminal cases because civil procedure is another story. This is criminal procedure. When a person is arrested and what happens? The person is brought to the office of the prosecutor, whether it be provincial, city, or municipal, is brought there for what purpose? To conduct a preliminary investigation to determine whether there is probable cause to hold him for trial. Because if there is no probable cause, what is the use? So the person arrested will just be released. Or there is no probable cause, there is no theft involved, there is no, because the transaction is merely utangan. So walang theft doon, inutang eh. So the fiscal will say, no, he will say, tell the arresting officers, release. There is no crime here. So that's the work of the prosecutor. Prosecution. Second pillar, courts. Now this is the judiciary. This is where the judicial department comes in. The courts, what does the court do? Determines the guilt or innocence of the accused after observance of due process. Ano naman yung animal na due process? Lagi natin maririnig yan. We will always encounter those two words, due process. Gawin mo ng due process of law. Mamaya, we will encounter this. Due process. What is that due process? I will tell the history of due process. All right. Probably you have an idea already what is due process. Okay. In the words of this Roman jurists, I remember my Roman law. The famous words are, strike but hear me first. Meron dinala sa public plaza na hahatulan. Pero hindi pa pinagsasalita. Sabi, sige, patayin niyo ako. Pero pagsalitain niyo muna ako. That is the beginning of due process. In other words, bigyan mo ng pagkakataon. Hindi yung basta inarest mo, kinulong mo na. Hindi. Bigyan mo pagkakataon. Strike but hear me first. That is the beginning of due process. And then from there on, it evolved. The system evolved. Okay? Put that at the back of your mind, yung due process, because we will be encountering those words later on. Okay. Next pillar is corrections. Why it is involved or it focuses on the custody, supervision, and more importantly, rehabilitation of the convicted offenders. There are two thoughts on this in criminal law, the classical and the positivist theory. That's why there is the word rehabilitation. Under the positivist theory, this is a theory in criminal law. There are two theories. That's why there is a criminal law. You will see this in your, or you have encountered this in your criminal law subject. The positivist theory, what does it say? Sir, ito yung positivist theory. Baka hindi kayo nakikinig. Positivist theory, si gentleman, no? It says, man is basically good. O, yun, ha? Man is basically good. So, yung mga naka-negative kaagad, suspicioso. Let's put that away in the meantime. Because it says, under the positivist theory, man is basically good. But, sabi, sometimes, he is subdued by a strange and morbid phenomenon that compels him to do wrong in spite of his contra-revolution. What does it mean? Sabi, ang tao, natural o sadyang mabait naman. Pero sometimes, may sometimes, no? Sa PIA, pinapasukan ng evil something, kaya nangyayari. Nakakagawa ng hindi tama. Yun na under the positivist theory. Now, we go to the classical theory. Dalawa yan eh. Sabi sa classical theory, the purpose of a criminal prosecution is to rehab the person. Reformation, that is the purpose of the penalty, is for the reformation of the person. And that the penalty is commensurate to the offense committed. Meaning to say, kung maliit lang yung ginawa, maliit lang din ang penalty. Kung malaki, malaki ang penalty. Alright, those are the two theories. Next pillar, community. Who are these members of the community? All of us. The Social Welfare and Development, Commission on Human Rights, barangays, members of the community, meaning all of us. We should assist law enforcement and the courts in solving crimes. If you will notice, bakit sinabi pa pati barangay? Yung kapitan plays a vital role. Siya nasa sa grassroots level eh. So alam niya mga maliit na petty crimes na nangyayari. Sabi nga nung isang DILG undersecretary when I visited him sometime ago, sabi niya, yung kapitan, dapat yan, always aware. Sabi niya, alam ng kapitan kung ano na nawawalang planggana ng kapitbahay. Hanggang sa palitan ng asawa, alam ng kapitan. So, community plays a vital role in the 5 pillars of justice. That's why we, as private citizens, or you will be some public officers also, we must always take notice of the word, or remember the word, acronym, AWARE. A-W-A-R-E. Aware. A stands for always. W is always be, or be. Within, yung W is within. A, the active. A-W-A. Always be within the active. R, range. Range is R, always be within the active range. The E of events. Aware. We should always be within the active range of events. Kaya, vigilant. Kung may nagawang nangyayaring krimen, o may nangyayaring whatever, o may binabalak, alam din natin. Because that is part of our 5 pillars of justice, the community. Okay, done with our 5 pillars. Let's proceed to another topic. Code of ethics na. All right, let's go to the code of ethics proper. Ito, interesado na kayo dito. Binigyan ko lang muna kayo ng overview background para malaman nyo na ang sitwasyon, where do you come in? All right. This, can you read? Because it's kinda may reflection eh. All right, sige, let's go. The primary responsibility of every person admitted to the practice of criminology is to bear faithful allegiance. You know this already, right? All right. Allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines and be loyal to his profession. They shall accept as sacred obligation and responsibility as citizens to support the Constitution of the Philippines and as a registered criminologist to defend the principles of liberty as defined in the Constitution and laws. So you see, andyan na naman yung word na Constitution and the laws. So it's basic that you should know the Constitution. How can you observe that responsibility if you are not familiar with our Constitution? Okay. So, that is a sacred obligation. On the part of lawyers, we also have our, like this. We call that the fourfold duties of a lawyer. I researched, in your case, you also have fourfold duties as criminologists. All right. Next please. All right. As a registered criminologist, they shall strive to improve their effectiveness by diligent and sincere attention to improvement and welcome the opportunity to disseminate practical and useful information relating to matters accruing to the benefit of public safety and welfare. Same with the legal profession. We encounter cases, situations, and problems which are not covered by the law. So, but we see that there is something wrong there. Something wrong happened, but there is no exact provision in the law. So what happens? The act and the person will go scot-free. Because there is no definite definition in the law. Definite classification. Sabi nga, well, I remember this Latin phrase. Nullium crimen nullia povena sine lege. Nullium crimen nullia povena sine lege. There is no crime when there is no law punishing it. That is the term. So, what will you do as criminologist? You will make recommendations to your superiors so that the superiors can make recommendations to the legislative department to enact laws or even to the, not really first the legislative, but to the higher ups or to the head of forensic or whatever, to devise ways and means to detect. So ganon, not necessarily law, but the methodologies as far as forensics or investigation or whatever. Or the system, you can make recommendations. That is a duty. Ethical duty, moral. Now, later on, I will also discuss what is ethical, what is moral, and what is legal. These are three different terms. Okay, now we are discussing ethical. Next. Limitation of authority. Any authority or power bestowed upon a a person with holding rank or privilege has a limited authority. He should be acting within the bounds of his authority. All right, and be aware of the limitations and precisely recognize the system of government that gives no man, group, or institution absolute power. He must ensure that he is prime defender of that system and as such must never pervert its character. What does it mean? Ang daming sinabi, no? Ano lang ibig sabihin niya? Ibig sabihin, may limitasyon din ang power. And hindi absolute yan. Although you're very powerful, you are the top criminologist, you are not powerful there. You do not have the absolute power. You go within the bounds, your limits, and the prescribed rules. You do not pervert. Isabihin, hindi mo sisirain yung system. That is what it means. You are the prime defender of the institutions, of the system of government. O, yan na naman. Sa Constitution na naman, ayan, recognize the system of government. If you do not know the system of government, how would you recognize or respect the system of government? So basic, we go back to your Constitution. Kaya inumpisahan ko kanina kayo sa Constitution. Alright, let's go to the other code, other ethical standard. They shall, in the performance of their duty, be just, impartial, and reasonable. Never affording anyone more preferential treatment than another. They shall recognize the limitation of their authority and at no time use the power of their profession for personal advantage. Because as criminologists, you are already in the upper class of the society, so you can use your knowledge. Sabi nga ni Ernie Baron, knowledge is power. O si Kuya King ba yun? Alright. If you have that knowledge, you have that power. So that you should not abuse the power of your profession. It should never be impartial. It is to be just. Ano ba yung just? Just depends on every circumstance. There is no definite standard on what defines just, the word just. Depende yan. And kaya nga, the word impartial and reasonable. Reasonable to a rational mind, to an unbiased and prejudiced mind, this act is correct. Pero pag prejudiced mind, lahat na sabihin nung kahit reasonable, sasabihin mo, hindi, mali ka. Because you are already impartial in your mind. May prejudice ka na, may biases ka na. Hindi mo pa nga naririnig, hinuhusgahan mo na . Tapos narinig mo, yung paliwanag, hindi pa rin. Alright, what this means, ito, applicable yan sa practice na yan. In practice, you will realize na ito nga pala yung code of professional ethics namin. You will be tempted to do otherwise, to act in a different way. Pero pag na-imbibe mo, if you imbibe this, you will be guided accordingly. And hindi kayo magkakaproblema. Kasi mamaya later we will talk about malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance later on. Now we go with the private conduct. This is a part of your duty as a private citizen, not necessarily as a practitioner. All right, the criminals must be mindful of special identification by the public. Because you are identified by the public as a criminologist, registered, a professional act. You should act professionally. That's what it means. He must never be lax in conduct, manner, private life. Yung criminologist, top criminologist, Eh, ganun yan eh. Sugarol yan. Chairman of Vices yan eh. Hindi vice chairman ha. Alright. Chairman vices. Yung private life, yan, iingatan din. Express disrespect for the law nor seek, should not express disrespect for the law nor seek to gain special privilege that would be reflected upon the profession. Because what you do reflects on the profession. Ang sasabihin ng public, ganun pala ang mga criminologists eh. Kung ano-ano lang ang ginagawa, kung ano-anong bisyo, pinasukan. Nasira ang profession. So you take care of yourself, your dignity, your integrity, so that the profession, the name of the profession will not be destroyed. We have the same duty as lawyers. We protect our image. His private and public will regard him as an example of stability, fidelity, and morality. Morality. Moral and legal, two different stories. Okay, so yung morality, you know that. What is moral may not be legal, and what is legal may not be moral. All right. Example of differentiation of moral and legal. In a parking space, in the malls, there are two vehicles, two cars. One is already near the vacant spot. But the other one, he was slow in coming in parking his vehicle. But the other one is so fast that he saw the opportunity, he came in first. What happens to the one waiting? Is there a legal violation there? Was there something violated or legally transgressed? None. Inunahan siya. Pero nakatutok na siya. Is there a legal implication there? May legalities involved ba doon? There is none. There is nothing illegal there. Naunahan siya. Wala namang batas na bawal mag-unahan. But is that moral? That is not moral. You are professionals. You should know that is not moral on your part. But it is not illegal. Pero yung morality, nalaman na ikaw ay criminologist, respected criminologist, ay di sisira din na profession. Ganun pala kayo, ha? Di, pumangit na. So, yung morality comes in there. Fidelity is faith, truthfulness, being loyal to your profession. He must strive to elevate the standing of the profession in the public mind, strengthen public confidence in law enforcement, develop and maintain complete support and cooperation of the public, and ensure the effectiveness by encouraging complete cooperation of members for their mutual benefit. All right. Self-explanatory. Probably you can imagine the situations where this will come in. Encouraging complete cooperation of members for their mutual benefit. In our profession, they will call us kumpanyerismo. Panyero, pwede ba, pagbigyan mo muna, papospone muna tayo. Saka ka na mag-present ng evidence. For mutual benefit naman yon. Because you are also respecting na, sige, next time ako naman pagbigyan mo. Something like that. So, merong for mutual benefit. May cooperation din somehow. support and cooperation of the public. Ito. If the public has no respect for you, how would you expect the public to respect and cooperate with you? Investigators, the scene of the crime. Siyempre, hanap ng mga witnesses. If the witness who was fortunately or fortunately there at the sideline, nagtanong yung investigador, sino witness dito? Yung only witness, galit pala doon sa investigador o doon sa criminologist. Wala kang makukuhang positive action. That's why always to maintain the integrity and fidelity in the profession. Alright? Mga scenarios yan. There are so many scenarios you can think of. But that is the most relevant. Next. One of the fourfold duties of a criminologist: conduct towards the public. The criminologists are reminded at all times that dignity, fairness, and genuine willingness to help are essential to their public image and their ability to do a good job. So halos similar din. Mas ito lang to the public eh. Kanina to the co-criminologists, co-professionals. Ito to the public na. Alright, at large. The criminologist, mindful of their responsibility to the whole community, deal with individuals of the community in a manner calculated to instill respect for its laws and their profession. Public to ha. Yung kanina, towards the profession. Yung isa pa, towards the, what do you call that? Profession. Yun. Work. Something like that. Okay. So ito to the public na to. General na to lalo. In all of this, what do you find the common denominator? Ethical standards. Moral maintenance of moral qualities. Sa lahat yun. Basic rule of thumb. You say, what do you think is morally correct? That will be the course of your action. The law might not define exactly the moral standards, but you as a human being, you with the concern for the public, your profession, to the community, will act in accordance with what you think is morally upright. So that is the essence of this. Actually, without this, you can already be effective civil servants. But these things were enshrined to keep you on your toes, to keep you always be reminded of these tenets. Tenets actually yan eh. Principles. So, be guided accordingly. In our profession, yung oath of office namin, minemorize namin yun. Because that is a bar exam question. Write down what is the oath of office for lawyers. Probably in your board exams, you will also be required to write what are the fourfold duties of the criminologist. Ito na yun. Minememorize namin yan. Mahaba yun. Yun, nakalimutan ko na sa tagal. But it's important for you, as early as now, memorize. Hindi lang yan explanation, ha? Yan na yun. I don't know if you have other oath of office for criminologists. Pero yung fourfold duties, ayan yun. Sa amin din, bar exam din namin yung fourfold duties of a lawyer. Sa ethics. Kasi yung subject namin sa ethics, it's a 1-unit subject sa bar exam. Pero pag nakakuha ka ng grade ng below 70 ron, bagsak ka kahit ang tataas na ibang subjects mo. So, wag mo sasabihin, 1 unit or 2 units lang yan. Lahat yan. Importante. Alright. They shall habitually courteous and accept their responsibility by being punctual, expeditious in their engagements and duties. They shall regard their profession as a public trust, and in the discharge of their duties, bear constantly in mind their obligation to serve the public efficiently and effectively. The word punctual. Punctuality. Doon na kailangan ka na may time frame yung investigasyon Dumating ka, tapos na. Nasa body bag na yung corpus delicti. So, yung punctual and expeditious. Di ka magpabagal-bagal ka. May susunod pang proseso. So, that's it. In their engagement duties. They regard the profession as public trust. What is public trust? Hindi yan yung Iba iniisip yung trust And in the discharge of their duties, bear constantly in mind their obligation to serve the public efficiently and effectively. Always at the back of your mind that your actions, your duties should be prompt and with dispatch, expeditious, so that hindi nyo naaabala yung sunod na proseso. Get it? All right. All right. What do we have? Article 5. The attitude towards your profession. Ito, attitude na to Kaya yung iba, sabihin, may attitude to. Pero iba ibig sabihin nito. The criminals strive to make the best application of science. Yan, forensic. To the solution of crime, science and solution, diligent study and sincere attention to self-improvement. And in the fields of human relationships, strive for effective leadership and public influence in matters of public safety. Not because you are not in duty, pabayaan mo na ako. Ano mangyari dyan sa mga yan? Kaya nga, always he shall appreciate the importance and responsibility of his profession as an honorable one rendering valuable service to his community and country. They shall strive to attain the most withering cross-examination on particular from fellow criminologists and associates. Because, why this? Minsan nagko-conflict ang opinion or ang examination ng isang criminologist sa isa. May conflict. So, they must attain the most withering cross-examination, particularly from criminologists and associates. Minsan talaga nangyari kahit sa iba-ibang tingin natin, iba-iba analysis. So, cooperation. All right. Next. He shall avoid influence from overzealous and over-anxious clients, and his findings shall be based solely on entirely logical and scientific deduction derived from a fair and impartial examination personally performed by him. Ito yung sinasabi ko Kasi minsan nai-influence sa examination Pagka meron, ganyan. In my experience, when I was teaching legal medicine, basic lang naman niya sa amin. Stab wound. As a legal examiner, or medical legal examiner, you stab wound, how would you report that? Okay, gunshot wound. POE, POX. Point of entry, point of exit. Kita mo, is there burning in the skin? So you have to report that. Malalaman mo the range with which the victim was shot. Stab wound kung ang ginamit na sharp weapon triangular. O di makikita mo triangle din yung butas. Kung I speak, di bilog na bilog. So tapos sasabihin mo pa sa report mo, hindi, nail clipper lang yung ginamit. So, yan ang ibig sabihin. So, be objective. Sa gunshot wound, makikita mo, may burning. So, he was shot in close range. Nagkaroon ng degree of burning. So, pagka malayo, so walang burning yan. Ang mo lang POX, POE. Alright. So, yun ang ibig sabihin nito. He must never lose sight of the important fact that he should only work for the identification, apprehension, and conviction of criminals, but must strive with greater, if not equal, vigor to clear the innocent. Sa investigation report, napaka-importante niyan Pwedeng makadiin, pwedeng maka-absuelto. So that's the essence of that. Be objective. Naintindihan nyo na ibig sabihin. In practice, kasi malaking bagay ang report ng examiner. Forensics. Criminologist, okay. As criminologist, alam ko naman, you are also involved in the pattern of studying criminal minds. Di ba? Yung pattern of behavior, I think you have a subject on that Meron ba kayo psychology? Alright, or psychology. Okay. So, I know. Pero this is the most important kasi forensics. Science do not lie. Kaso, pagka tayo mismo ang nag-distort, pati ang prosecution and the courts will lose its direction. Justice may not be served if sa umpisa pa lang ang criminologist nagka-problema na. Ang report niya haphazardly done. Wala. Ano mangyayari sa prosecution? Kawawa naman ng mga prosecutors. Kawawa ang court. Masisira ang justice system. Paano na yung 5 pillars of criminal justice system? Ito na yung sinasabi ko. Attitude towards fellow criminologists. Pretty soon, that's why, I ask you later, 10 years from now, where do you see each other? Baka makita-kita rin ulit kayo. But, sa work-related, classmate, attitude towards fellow criminologists. The criminologists strive constantly to improve professional standing through association with others in the profession and keeping abreast with the fast-moving world of science, technology through constant research and development. How do you attain this? You. Parehong lawyers. Kami yung pinag-aralan namin so many years ago. But how do we keep abreast with the changes in the law, in the legal system, in the procedures? You attend seminars, conventions, lectures, and you exchange ideas among yourselves. That's why you keep abreast. Lumana pala yung technology, alam mo, may mga bago na kaya nahihirapan ka pala sa examination. So, you attend conventions, seminars, and whatever, locally or abroad, mas maigi. To enhance your capabilities as a criminologist. Okay? Yun sinasabing, strive constantly to improve professional and through association with others. Technology kasi, kaya nga ICCT and technology. Ayos ba? Alright. He shall cooperate fully with fellow criminologists regardless of personal prejudice. Actually, binanggit ko ito kanina eh. May mga personal prejudices and biases. Maapektuhan ng inyong trabaho eh. Alright. He should, however, be assured that such action is proper in accordance with law and guard against the use of office or person. He always bear in mind that at all times that it is not sufficient to be proficient in one's work, he must also have high sense of justice, a belief in the dignity and worth of all men, and with proper motivation and attitude. He must possess a sense of dedication to his profession and a sense of duty and obligation to his fellow men. So parang mission. It's not just a profession, it's a mission. I will equate this in the legal profession. Meron din kami dyan na tawag na this is not a money-making business in our profession. This is a mission. Why? Because we uphold the justice system. If a person will come to court walang abogado, the judge will appoint you pro bono. Because it is a mission. We cannot say, no, Your Honor, I will not. You cannot deny that. Same is true with you. This is a mission, not a venture or a business or something, not merely a profession. Kumbaga sa mga pare mission kayo. You're on a mission. Ayan, sense of duty and obligation to his fellow men. Fellow men. So, yan ang mission ninyo. Alright. He shall cooperate with fellow criminologists and public officials to the end that the safety and general welfare of the public will be assured, never permitting jealousness or physical differences to influence their professional duties and obligations. More or less, these tenets and principles are interrelated with one another. Bottom line, moral, ethical standards. Yan. Kasi, kung kahit di mo naman yan, pero it's mandatory for you to memorize these things. Kasi, even if, for example, you don't know these things yet, your conscience will dictate your courses of action. Di ba? Ikaw God-fearing. Ikaw we have the sense of justice or justness or fairness in your mind. Hindi, ito, parang na to, remember, what do you call this? Pointers for review. Yan. Pero as students, you must put this in your system. Internalize this because you will need this in your board exam. Okay. Next. Nakaw. Ito na yung code of ethics nyo talaga. The universally accepted code of ethics for law enforcement shall be temporarily adopted pending formulation of a more specific code that embraces all aspects of criminology. Law enforcement ethics as a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. What does it mean? Ayan na naman yung constitutional rights. Andyan na naman. So, hindi kayo, when we talk of these proceedings, always the constitutional provisions. Kaya nga, di ba meron kayong constitution subject? O, di ba? but I do not see your constitution. And then, that's a deep joke. All right. Next. Ayan, parang oath na ito, I will keep my private life unsullied as an example to all. Maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn or ridicule, develop self-restraint, and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others. Honest in thought and deed in both my personal and official life. I will be exemplary in obeying the laws of the land and the regulation of my department. And whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confided to me in my official capacity will be kept ever secret unless revelation is necessary in the performance of a duty, and I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. This, actually, parang summary na to eh. This entire paragraph summarizes everything. In our profession, yung duty to a co-lawyer, especially yung young, greenhorns, yung mga novice, yung mga newly graduates, nagpa-practice, trial, sa court, yung, siyempre sa procedures, lamang na yung mga may edad, yung mga gray hair. Sa gulangan, pagka bata yung kalaban na abogado, ay bobo, hindi niya maipasok yung evidence. May ganyan, nakasuhan yung nagsalita noon ng abogado, suspended in the practice, because you are to extend cordiality to your co-professional. Kaya yung kanina nandun eh. Sa inyong ganun din. Pag may edad na sa inyo, hindi pa marunong masyado, huwag niyong benggahin o i-down. May talagang aming kompanyerismo tawag doon eh. Tulungan mo pa nga eh. Kahit kalaban mo yan eh. Tulungan mo rin. Kasi because hindi naman yung panalo natin yung kaso natin ng prime, gusto natin lumabas ang hustisya. Yung katotohanan. I remember sa palengke pag dumaan ka, sir, ano hanap nyo? Sabi ko, katotohanan. Alright, kanina, earlier we were discussing about the Constitution. Ilang beses na on and off, we've been encountering the word the Constitution and all. Now, we go to the meat and substance of your rights. Because if you know your rights, you know also the rights of the public, of the private persons. First, Article 1. Article 3. This is Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution. Alright? So, ito yung basic. Everybody must know this. Not only us professionals, every person must know this. Every Filipino citizen must know this. Now, Section 1, I will try to go as fast as possible kasi malapit na tayo mag-time. Section 1, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Oh, see? Andun na naman yung due process. Nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. Ito yung equal protection clause. Now, this is a 3-unit subject in the College of Law, but I will summarize this in a few minutes. Basic, Kaya number 1 yan, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall any person be deprived the equal protection of laws. Ibig sabihin dyan, due process, yung sinabi natin kanina, inaresto mo, pinakulong mo, walang due process. Idaan mo sa investigation, sa court. Lalo na kung involving life imprisonment or death penalty. Pero we'll discuss death penalties. Kailangan lalo ng due process. Property. You cannot just confiscate property without due process of law. Tadaan mo rin sa court dyan. Litigation kayo dyan. Liberty, property. Without due process of law. Alright. Hindi pwede basta kunin ng state yan o ng government. Litisin mo na yan. Number 2, Section 2. Bilisan natin ng konti. Ito. Any arresting officer should know this. Everybody, every arresting officer. The right of any person to be secure in their persons, houses, and effects of whatever kind of nature shall be inviolable, and no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall issue except upon probable cause to be determined by the judge personally after examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce, and particular describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be searched. Every arresting officer of police should know this. Kasi once this is violated, the entire proceeding, the trial process is nullified. Pag hindi na-observe yan, dismiss ang kaso. Makawala ang accused o ang criminal. So, basically, memorize yan. Ako, hindi naman ako arresting officer, pero memorize ko yan. Kasi bar exam question yan eh. Alright. So, the right of a person to be secure in their papers, houses, and effects. Ano ibig sabihin? What this means simply is, the police cannot just simply go inside your house and search for papers, things, or effects of whatsoever kind in nature para gawing ebidensya laban sa'yo. And what does it mean? The arresting officers to get a search warrant to the court. Kaya, no search warrant shall issue except upon examination personally by the judge. Alright? So, hindi basta-basta ka-barge in sa bahay mo, kuha ng ebidensya. Once it is violated, the evidence seized shall not be used, cannot be used in evidence. Alright? So, nandun na tayo sa meat and substance. Go ahead, number 3. We'll go faster now. Alright. The privacy of communication and correspondence shall be inviolable. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Except upon lawful order of the court. Cellphones ninyo. It cannot just be violated. Your mga sulat cannot just be violated. Yung mga communications. Privacy. Now, we have the Data Privacy Act. Your lahat ng mga data ninyo is supposed to be safe and secure. Alright. Unless it is the court who will order that your communications be presented to court. If there is no court order, kahit na any arrest kayo, if you will be arresting officers, you cannot order the communication. You cannot just get the cell phone and get an evidence there. No. Yung communications ninyo to one another, they are supposed to be inviolable. It cannot be violated. All right. And evidence obtained by this proceedings shall be inadmissible for evidence in any purpose. Yun ang sasabi natin, inadmissible. And when there is no evidence that was admitted, what happens to the case? Dismissed. So be careful. The arresting officer must observe this. Next. No law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech or religion. Ito, basic to eh. Hindi pwede magpasa ng batas ang legislatibo na pagbabawalan, magsalita ang tao o mag-express ng kanyang sentimento Either laban sa government or in favor of the government. Hindi pwede paglalaban. Next. No law shall be made respecting an establishment of religion. Kasi this is because of the principle of separation of church and state. Hindi pwedeng makialam ang church sa gawain ng gobyerno, and in the same manner, ang gobyerno hindi pwedeng makialam sa gawain o sa mga paniniwala ng isang reliyon. Intindihan ba yan? Clear ba yan? Bakit pag Christmas, kasama lahat? Tanong lang yun. Just a question. Separation of church and state. Wala rin pasok yung iba. Kasi, akala ko ba separation of church and state? Hindi. Because that was a custom already, tradition. Alright? Bakit yung, wag na, baka kasi mahirap pag-usapan pag reliyon. Alright, next. The liberty of abode and of changing the same within the limits prescribed by law shall not be impaired. What does it mean? Kung saan mo gustong tumira at lumipat. Hindi pwedeng harangan ka. Gusto mo lumipat sa ganun Neither shall the right to travel be impaired except in the interest of national security, public safety, or public health as may be provided by law. All right. Either your right to travel except public safety. Classic example, during the pandemic. Our right to travel was cut. We cannot travel. Because of the exception there, public health, public safety. So, see, the interplay. Nakita nyo na how it works, how the Constitution works. Public safety, public health na naging concern doon. Alright? Or in some instances, security, especially in the South area, Mindanao area, and travel is restricted because of, or movements because of armed conflicts. All right? Next. The right of the people to information on matters of public concern. Yan. Or papers pertaining to official acts, transactions, or decisions, as well as government research data used as basis for policy development. And shall be afforded the citizen. Ito yung right, meron na yan particular law right of information. A person can petition the court if you want to know something about a government policy that is being formulated. You can ask the court, the Supreme Court, through a petition for a writ of information. All right. Sige, go. So the right of the people, including those employed in the public and private sector, to form unions or associations or societies for purposes not contrary to law shall not be abridged. Ito basic human right ito Because lahat tayo, we are social animals. We associate with each other. We have unions, fraternities. It's a right that cannot be abridged. Of course, there are exceptions. Brotherhood, associations, especially in private companies, the right to form unions in companies, private companies, employers, employees. Pwede yan. Hindi pwede harangan yan. Alright. Even in the government, sabi, pwede ka magtayo na association. Alright. Association ng mga gwapo. Maraming hindi makakasali. Alright. Go. Next. Private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. What does this mean? Ito yung one of the three inherent powers of government. First power of taxation. In high school, you have already studied the taxation. Power of taxation, one of the inherent power. Bakit? Why? Because that is the lifeblood of the nation. Where will the government source its income to fund its workings or projects or whatever? The salaries of the government employees through taxation. So, no country or government can subsist without the lifeblood, which is money, taxation. So, you can be taxed. Your profession, if you are already criminologist, you will be taxed. Privilege tax to practice your profession. Lifeblood yan yung power of taxation. Second inherent power, the police power. Yung police power, this is what we are doing. Kasi the state has a right to protect itself and the inhabitants. So that's why there is the police power. Duly constituted authorities exercising police power. Third is this power of eminent domain. Nababasa niyo ba? No law shall be passed. Private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. Meaning to say, the government can take property, private property, but with just compensation. Bibilhin sa inyo ng gobyerno. And yung power of eminent domain. Three of the inherent powers, ito yung power of eminent domain. What does it mean? For example, a large block of property, real property, somewhere there, is needed by the government to construct a public road. To ease congestion or to ease the traffic or for whatever, to shortcut distance. The government can buy your property. Wala kang magagawa. But you will be paid just compensation. You will be compensated. Hindi pwedeng basta kukumpisahin ng government. Kailangan namin to. Alis ka dyan. No. That is an inherent power of the government, of the state. We need your property. Actually, not only real property. We need your telephone lines. It was already a case. The Retelco case during the 1970s. The government needed a telephone company. They bought the company. Kahit ayaw ng Retelco. All right. So, binayaran. That's because they use the power of eminent domain. All right, next. No law shall be passed bridging the obligation of contracts. Hindi raw pwede magpasa, the legislative or the Congress cannot pass enact a law na yung contractual obligation dati babaliwalain. Okay, so when the government enters into a contract with a private person and then the Congress eventually will pass a law declaring that contract as non-existent, it cannot be. So respect contract. Pacta sunt servanda. Contracts must be complied with in good faith. Yun ang Latin, ha? Yung mga marunong mag-Latin. Ako, marunong din sa Latin. Okay. Free access to the courts and quasi-judicial bodies and adequate legal assistance shall not be denied to any person by reason of poverty. Free access to the courts. So not because you are poor, you cannot go to court. No. That's why the Constitution guarantees that you have the right of free access to the court. And quasi-judicial bodies. What are quasi-judicial bodies? The Department of Justice, Department of ganyan, these are quasi-judicial bodies. You cannot be denied. All right. In fact, you will find that in the other succeeding sections of this article on Bill of Rights, as I will explain later. Nasa section 11 pa lang tayo. 22 sections to. Any person under investigation for the commission of offense shall have the right to be informed of the right to remain silent and to have competent and independent counsel, preferably of his own choice. If the person cannot afford the services of a counsel, he must be provided with one. These rights cannot be waived except in writing and in the presence of counsel. This provision is memorized by heart by every arresting officer, by every policeman. Whenever making arrest, they should bear this in mind. Any person under investigation for the commission of offense shall have the right to remain silent, shall be informed. Not only have the right, shall be informed. Who will inform? The person, the arresting. He will inform the person arrested of his right to remain silent. Later on, I will recite that to you. All right. Sige, go. Self-explanatory yan, ha? All right. No torture, force, violence, intimidation, threat which free against any confession or admission obtained violation of peace shall not be used as evidence against him. All right. You know why? This is a check on police extraction of evidence through testimony, through the use of torture or violence during investigations. All right? So, as early as now, alam nyo na yung ibig sabihin niya kung bakit may ganyan. Okay, next. Mas interesting na yata ito sa inyo ngayon, ano? Alright. Go. Ano ba to? All persons except those charged with offenses by reclusion perpetua when evidence of guilt is strong shall, before conviction, be bailable by sufficient sureties or be released on recognizance as may be provided by law. The right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Excessive bail shall not be required. What does it mean? All offenses are bailable. General rule. Lahat ng krimen pwede magpiyansa. Except when evidence of guilt is strong. Kung malakas ang ebidensya. Sabi nung magkapitbahay, kinatok. Ay, kinain ng asom nyo yung manok ko. Sabi nung kapitbahay, hindi, wala ka namang ebidensya. Tapos paglabas ng aso, mayroong balahibo rito. Evidence of guilt is strong. So, something like that. All offenses are bailable. Okay. Except kung malakas ang ebidensya. Alright. Mayroong kolatilya ito eh. The right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Kasi ito nung offshoot ng martial law. Suspended na writ of habeas corpus. Hindi makapagpiyansa yung napagkamalang magnanakaw. Suspended na writ of habeas corpus eh. Simple pagnanakaw lang. Hindi rin makapagpiyansa. So, sinabi rito ngayon, even when the writ of habeas corpus is suspended, pwede magpiyansa. Ito pa huli, excessive bail shall not be required. Okay, makapagpiyansa ka nga. Ang kaso mo, theft. Pinayagan ka ng court, magpiyansa ka, pero ang piyansa mo, 1 million. Ninakaw mo, 10,000 lang. Yun yung sinasabi, excessive bail. Di parang hindi ka rin pinayagan magpiyansa nun. So, excessive bail shall not be required. Okay, next. In all, no person shall be held to answer for a criminal offense without due process of law. Ayan na naman, no? Yung due process of law na naman. So, nasa number 1 na yan kanina. Ngayon, nasa 14 pa rin, no? Kaya sabi sa inyo, mabubugbog kayo sa due process of law. All right, and then in all criminal proceedings, the accused shall be presumed innocent until contrary is proved, and shall enjoy the right to be heard by himself and counsel to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation against him, to have speedy, impartial, and public trial, to meet the witnesses face to face, and to have compulsory process to secure the attendance of witnesses and the production of evidence in his behalf, etc. Blah 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 blah. However, after arraignment, trial may proceed, notwithstanding the absence of the accused, provided that he has been duly identified and his failure to appear is unjustifiable. Actually, ito criminal procedure na to part of criminal procedure to. In all criminal prosecutions, when one is being tried, trial na to hindi lang to investigation, nasa trial period na. The accused shall be presumed innocent until, because that is part of our system of government. Hindi ka mukha sa ibang bansa, once nahuli ka, presumed guilty ka na. Ikaw, your burden of proof is to prove that you are not innocent. You are innocent. Baligtad. Dito sa atin, nahuli ka, ang presumption sa'yo, you are presumed to be innocent. But in the other countries, you are presumed guilty already. It's up to you to prove your innocence. Bali, di ba? May pagkakaiba. So, saan nyo gusto? Doon sa innocent muna kayo. I-prove ng prosecution ang guilt ninyo. Hindi yung the other way around, inuuli ka, ipoprove mo na innocent ka. Ang burden of proof lies with the prosecution sa ating sistema. The burden lies with the prosecutor. So the evidence to be used, gathered by you, criminologists, will be used by the prosecutor. Kung wala kayo na ibigay na ebidensya, wala kayo na i-prepare, what will the prosecutor use? Nothing. The accused is now entitled to his innocence. That's it. Yung importance ninyo, yung trabaho ninyo. Alright? Okay. Now, next. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended except in times of invasion or rebellion when the public safety requires it. This is a political matter that we decided by the Congress. Of course, the President has the power to declare the privilege of writ habeas corpus as suspended. But it has to have the concurrence later on. You will see. If you are in-depth analysis of the Constitution, it has to have the concurrence of the Legislative Department. All right. All persons shall have the right to a speedy disposition of their cases before all judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative bodies. Why? Because of the principle that justice delayed, continue, justice delayed is not traffic. Justice delayed is justice denied. That's why this provision. All persons shall have the right to speedy disposition, fast disposition of your cases. Yung kaso mo, 10 taon na. Ano ba yung kaso nito? Jaywalking? Ano ba kaso nito? Bakit tumagal ng ganito to? Kaya nga, all persons, the right to speedy disposition. Now, okay, next. No person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. Testimonial evidence, you are required to testify. You cannot be compelled, but you don't want to testify because you might incriminate yourself. Ayan ang tawag na right to self-incrimination. Kung ayaw mo mag-testify, you cannot be forced. Because you might endanger your own guilt or innocence. All right? Next. No person shall be detained solely by reason of his political beliefs and aspirations. Hindi ko mo, ang reliyon mo, ganun kukulong ka. Hindi ka sampalataya sa ganun, kukulong ka. Hindi, kaya freedom of religion yan. Part of freedom of religion. No involuntary servitude in any form shall exist except as punishment for a crime whereof the party has been duly convicted. All right. Ito, may Spanish, during the colonial times. Ito yung tinatawag na polo or forced labor. If you studied your history, which I know hindi kayo mataas ang grado, ay yung polo or forced labor, yung mga Kastila ba, pinapatrabaho, yung mga sa mga lupain, pinapa-forced, walang sweldo yun. Trabaho. Kaya pinagbawal na rin yan. Okay. Except punishment after conviction. Di ba yung mga preso, pwede pagtrabahuhin sa kung saan. Kasi na-convict na eh. Napatunayan na nagkasala. Ayun ang punishment nila. Okay. Sige. Go. Excessive fine shall not be imposed nor cruel degrading of human punishment inflicted. Dito, parang minor provision na yan. Neither shall the death ito lang. Neither shall death penalty be imposed unless for compelling reasons involving heinous crimes. The Congress after actually may amendment ito eh. Suspended ang death penalty. The employment of physical, psychological, or degrading punishment against any prisoner, detainee, or the substantial or inadequate penal facilities under subhuman conditions shall be dealt with by law. It's better read kasi hindi naman nangyayari pa. Gumanda ang prison facilities. All right, go ahead. All right, we are now in section 20. No person shall be imprisoned for debt or non-payment of a poll tax. Ito marami nagtatanong sa akin. Matatandaan, tatanong pa sa akin. Tony, umutang sa akin na ganito eh. Gano'ng katagal ba pwedeng kulong nito? 2 million yung yung utang eh. Ilang beses na pwede mo makulong to. Yun na nga sa Constitution. Yun kasi hindi nagbasa ng Constitution niya, hindi nagbasa ng Bill of Rights. No person shall be imprisoned for debt or non-payment of a poll tax. Pag utang is utang. Hindi ulang na taong nakulong sa utang. Pera na lang, kung kaya nagkapera yung kabila, ay niloko mo yung tao na nakuhaan mo ng pera. Iba yun. Hindi honest to goodness utang yun. Istapa yun. Swindling yun. Naswindle mo siya, kaya ka binigyan ng pera. Pero yun talagang honest to goodness na imutang, ididemanda mo ng kriminal. No. Hindi yan criminal case. Walang participation ng pulis dyan. Civil case lang yan. Civil case. Demanda mo sa husgado, civil. Para collection of sum of money. That's it. Any poll tax for non-payment of poll tax. Unang-una, wala naman tayong poll tax eh. Kasi bawal nga yan, nagagamit yan eh. Pag eleksyon. Pag hindi ka nagbayad ng poll tax mo hindi ka makaboto. Paano hindi ka pala ang kandidato niya? So, pinagbawal nga yan. Alright? Yan ang explanation dyan. No person shall be twice put in jeopardy of punishment for the same offense. This is about double jeopardy. Nabistahan niya siya doon sa isang kaso, may kaparehong kaso pa nasa ibang lugar, pero same, proceeding from the same commission or act. Tapos sinintensya nito, that's double jeopardy. Isa lang, kung saan, lalo na sa transitory crimes, yung nag-umpisa yung habulan sa Kainta, umabot ng Taytay hanggang Angono, Binangonan. In either of these towns or municipalities, pwede mong file ng kaso. Napailan ng una sa Kainta, napailan ulit sa Taytay, napailan sa Angono. Nagkasabay-sabay ang bista na convict sa isa. Paano yung dalawang napailan din? Hindi na pwede kasi because of this double jeopardy. Alright? Linaw. Ito pa, isang form of double jeopardy. If an act is punished by a law and an ordinance, conviction or acquittal under either shall constitute a bar for the prosecution to another prosecution for the same act. Kung ang isang act ay punishable ng ordinance at punishable din ng national law. Once you are convicted of one, the other one should be dismissed. Okay na. Anti-littering law, punishable by ordinance. Punishable din yan by the national law. Ano na yung dumping of trash? May ordinance ang kainta, may ordinance din ang national. O yung illegal cutting of trees, illegal logging. I remember yung isang kaklase namin na sa College of Law, laki ng hita. Tinaga. Ang kaso, illegal logging. So, sabihin, pag na-convict ka na sa law ordinance, hindi ka na pwede ma-convict sa national law. Alright? Ganun lang yun. Ito. No ex post facto law or bill of attainder shall be passed. Simple lang to. In passing, mabilis lang. Ex post facto law. Yung ginawa mo ngayon, hindi criminal, hindi crime eh. Pero nagkaroon ng batas na yung ginawa mo pala, ngayon crime na. Oh, alright. Prosecute ka ba? No. Ex post facto law eh. Because principle ng revised penal code natin is all criminal laws are prospective in application. Walang atras. Nung ngayon, hindi bawal ang pag-utot. Nagkaroon ng law, bawal na. Because of health reasons. Pwede ko ba i-prosecute? O sige, describe mo yung amoy. Okay. Para ebidensya. Kailangan mo ng witness and testimony. Okay. Next. So that is your Bill of Rights. Maraming cases involved dyan. Kaya lang, it's a 3-unit subject, it's a bar subject. But you will be animated. Alright. Okay. Okay. Criminal procedure. Bilisan natin. Let's go on this. Criminal procedure. Institution of criminal offense. The complaint information should always state the name of the Philippines. Ikaw, it's your duty as the policeman. Lalagay ng people of the Philippines, basic yon. Sa probinsya, bakit sabi nung nagsuntukan? Sabi nung, attorney, isa lang naman yung nasuntok ko, bakit ang kalaban ko, people of the Philippines? Always in the name, because what is violated is the law of the country. Isa lang nga naman yung sinuntok niya people of the Philippines na kalaban niya. Okay. The complaint must be subscribed by the offended party. What do you mean by subscribe? Sabi under oath. Nanumpasan, totoo yung sinasabi niya. Alright? Paspas. Information subscribed by the prosecutor. Ang complaint by the offended party, private. Pagka information, ang nag-file, fiscal, prosecutor. Okay? Designation of the offense. Name of the statute. Statute is the law. Ano ba yung batas na binayolate? Article 315, estapa. Lalagay yun. Hindi pwede magdemanda ka na walang anong demanda, hindi pwedeng ganon. Cause of the accusation, yung facts, acts or omission constituting the omission. Bakit ba nangyari? Kaya pag nasa court, babasahin sa inyong criminal information, sabihin, that on or so about your July 20, so and so, you willfully, feloniously, and maliciously harass and abused a certain contrary to law. Isabihin, ninarrate niya doon kung ano yun nangyari. Hindi pwedeng basta nilagay mo yung acts of lasciviousness tapos wala na. I-explain mo yun. Yun ang nature. Bilisan natin. Place of commission of offense. Why? The place is important because it confers jurisdiction in venue. Where the place is committed, where the place of the crime is committed, that is where you should file. Hindi yun nandito sa kainta, pinail mo naman sa Binangonan. That's wrong. Kasi doon ka nakatira. Hindi. Dito nangyari. Dito, papail. Okay, jurisdictional yan or else the court will have no jurisdiction. di-dismiss din. Alright. Date of commission of the offense. Of course, kasi meron prescriptive period. That's why you have to put the date. And slight physical injury, slight defamation prescribes in 6 months. Kung nung nangyari pa pala yan nung October last year, prescribed na yan. Hindi pa, no? January lang ngayon. Sabihin natin July, January. Ngayon mo lang ipapile slight defamation, nagkamurahan lang kayo. Ngayon mo ipapile, hindi na. So, prescribed na yun, may prescriptive period. Alright. Name of the offended party, of course. Sino ba yung victim? Kung wala palang victim, sino? Hindi multo. Alright, go. Rights of the accused. Okay, arrest. How is arrest made? Arrest by the actual taking of the person in custody. So, hindi mo pwede sabihin, na-arresto na kita. Halika nga dito, palalapitin mo pa. Actual taking, that's the arrest. Yun. Kung hindi sumunod sa'yo, sabi, sige na nga. Okay, arraignment and plea. What is arraignment? Arraignment is when yung tinatawag na napapanood sa TV, binabasahan na ikaw, ganyan, inaakusahan sa salang ganito. Tapos tatanungin, ito yung plea, tatanungin, ano masasabi mo? Salamat po. Ganun ba yun? Ang plea, ibig sabihin, naamin mo ba to o hindi? Plea, guilty or not guilty? Sabi mo, not guilty po. Trial will proceed. Pero pag sinabi mong guilty, wala nang trial. Pwede ka nang sintensyahan. Alright? Usually sa mga illegal gambling, mga sabong, pag naguhuli. Basahan mo na siyempre ang demanda ng information under the Gambling Act. What's your plea? Sabihin, guilty. Guilty. Kasi nga naman, pag nilaban mo ng kasuhan pa yan, abutin ka ng 6 months, 8 months. Samantala, mag-plead ka ng guilty, ang penalty mo, fine, 200 pesos. Kaya may plea. Anong gusto mo? Okay. What? Now we go to, tapos na tayo muna sa, criminal procedure. Basic. Sana nag-i-enjoy kayo. Alright. What is, we go now evidence. Why evidence is important in your profession? Because that's the means of ascertaining the truth of the matter. If there is no evidence, there is nothing to prosecute. There is nothing. What happens to the justice system? Wala, hindi na. It will not move. Okay. So technically, and under the rules of court, evidence is defined as the means of ascertaining allowed by the rules to determine the innocence or guilt of the accused. That's the definition. Okay. How do you present evidence? 1, object evidence. 2, eto. Kaya nasa section 20 na kaagad tayo. Witnesses. Bakit tayo tumalon doon? Asa na iba? Okay. Witnesses. How do you present evidence? Through the witness. Okay. That question, who can be a witness? Who can be a witness? Hindi Jehovah ang tinatanong ko, ha? Who can be a witness? The law, the procedure, the rules of court defines as a person who can perceive and in perceiving can make known their perceptions to others. Lalim, ano? Ba yun? Is a person who can perceive and in perceiving can make known his perceptions to others. Testigo yun, ibig sabihin. Sino pwedeng testigo? Ang bulag, pwede ba maging testigo? Ha? Bakit? Pandinig. Bulag na bingi pa. Yung kriminal may pabango ang bango na amoy. Ganun ang amoy. Kaya sinabi, who can perceive and in perceiving can make known his perceptions to others. O, kung bulag na, bingi pa, may diferensya pa yung ilong, ano na? Pwede? O, nahawakan niya yung biktima nakapagsalita pa. Nakasalita naman siya, nahawakan lang yung biktima. So, pwede siyang testigo. Bulag na, bingi, may diferensya ilong. Ano pa? Pwede? Pwede. Di ba? Ano niyo yung qualification ng witness? Who can perceive and perceiving can make known his perceptions to others. Okay. Yun sa example na yun. Ano na lang ang pwede sa kanya, ang available? Ha? Bibig. Natalisod siya dun sa bangkay Natalisod siya. Ano tamaan niya? Tao. Kasi ang tinatanong ang issue, tao ba yung patay o hayop? Natalisod siya. Okay. Pipi rin siya. Oo. Ano nangyari? Kawawa naman siya. Boy pa siya. Alright. So, testimonial evidence kasi yon. Okay. Pwede naman yung pipi. Bibili nga ng sigarilyo nutusan pipi. Paano? Malboro pala. Can make known the perception to others. Alright? Pinasaya ko lang kayo kasi naiinip na kayo. Okay, testimony is generally confined to knowledge, personal knowledge, hindi hearsay. Pag tinanong ka sa sugot, narinig ko sinabi ni ganun, siyang pumatay. Hearsay yan. Hindi pwede yan. Inadmissible yan. Ma-objectan ka. Okay? It's confined to personal knowledge. Alright. Yan ang general rule, Confined to general. Kung ano lang yung alam mo. Huwag mong dadagdagan, huwag mong susobrahan. Kung ano yung nakita mo, kung ano yung naamoy mo, kung ano yung nahawakan mo, nasalat mo, nabasa mo, yun lang. Pero yung nabasa mo, kailangan yung nabasa, object evidence yun Alright. So, exception, dying declaration. Kahit na hindi mo nakita, narinig mo lang. Or dying declaration. Sabi ni ganun, isa nung mamamatay na siya, that is accepted. Declaration sa dying person. Next, declaration against interest. Kahit hindi mo narinig, pero siya mismo, yung akusado, nag-declare siya na, bad. Kasi kasalanan naman yan, kaya ginawa ko yun. Declaration against interest yun. Parang admission na nga yun admissible na yun. Alright. Act or declaration regarding pedigree of another person related to the descendant. Yun namatay. Yan to may testify, kamag-anak, tsohin, tsahin, pamangkin. Yung relationship, pag anong issue is, anong relationship nila, descendant na yan. Kahit hindi siya sigurado, hindi siya expert on the matter, magkamag-anak sila, so admitted yon. Family reputation tradition regarding pedigree such as family books, history, ganyan, photographs, yung mga admissible yan. Kahit hindi ikaw ang nagkuha ng picture. Alright? Next. Common reputation of facts or public general interest. More than 30 years old monuments. And yung bang monumento ni Rizal, kailangan pa bang patunayan na may nagtayo doon? Kailangan pa bang patunayan na nandun sa luneta yun? Hindi na kailangan yun. They're facts of public or general interest. Unang-una, bakit ba siya nakatayo doon? Ewan. Okay. Statements as parts of res gestae. What is res gestae? Mayroong pangyayari when there is a startling occurrence. And may isang sigaw, ay! Sinagasaan! Although, that person in the witness stand did not see. Pero merong statement, meron siya narinig, ay, nasagasaan. That can be taken as evidence, although hindi naman nakita. Pero statement yun eh. Okay. As part of registry. Marami yan kasi very intricate yan sa rules on evidence. We are pressed for time. Go. Entries in the course of business. Yung listahan sa tindahan. Evidence yan. Utang ka ng utang. Ito na nga listahan mo in the course of business. May pirma ka pa doon. 3 coke, 4 na hopya. Ebidensya laban sa yan. Course of business. Entries in official records. What are official records? Birth certificate ninyo. Yung sa driver's license ninyo. These are official records. Evidence na yan. Kahit na hindi mo sabihin yan. Basta pakita mo lang yan. Okay. Entries yan eh. Okay. Commercial lists. Published in the magazines. Ganyan. Pwede mo rin gamitin yan. Newspapers. Yes. Yung mga articles doon. Next. Now, we go to ano tayo? Criminal procedure? Learned treatises. Ganun din yan. So, that is not... Okay, opinion rule sa evidence. When you are being asked to testify, either you'll be asked, especially you will be asked to testify as an expert witness, not an ordinary witness. Because there is a lot of the difference between ordinary witness and an expert witness. Yung dead witness. Meron ba nun? Kayo naman, paano pa makakapag-testify yung patay na nga? Okay. So, yung expert witness, kayo yan. Because you will be testifying on something of your expertise. Using your expertise. How did you calculate the time of death? Or how far was the victim from the attacker? I remember this joke of my professor in College of Law. To test the credibility of the witness, sabi nung judge, ikaw nasan ka naman nung nire-rape yung babae? Nasa sagingan po, ganong kalayo? Hindi ko po matansya, sabi nung testigo. Bakit? O sige, kasi nandun po ako sa likod ng puno ng saging, dumudumi po ako, tumatay ako eh. Pero nakita ko po. O sabi, sige, para malaman ng judge kung ilang hakbang mula dun sa sagingan na pinatwesta mo hanggang dun sa pangyayari nung crime. Sagot ng testigo hindi ko po alam, judge, hindi po ako humahakbang habang tumatay. It's just a joke. Galing sa prop ko yan, hindi original yan. Alright. So, you will be testifying as an expert witness. Mas rigid ang rules. Meaning, mas mahirap kasi ika-qualify kayo as an expert witness. To be able to testify on the report that you made. Kung bara-barang paggawa mo, baka pati ikaw, hindi mo ma-explain na maayos yung report mo. Paano tatanggapin ng court yan? Alright. Okay, next. Nandun to respect identity of a person. Handwriting. Handwriting. Okay, in cases of falsifications, vital dyan ng handwriting. Pinapalsify handwriting. I had one experience, falsification of a document. Yung magaling gumaya, yung mga golden arms, huli yan . Forensic, sa crime lab, Ang isang letra, minamagnify. Ganun, kaya magastos. Isang letra, makikita mo yung loops and turns. Nakikita yung disparity. Kaya pag nag-present ka, experience, I presented that, kitang-kita. Pero pag tinignan mo in ordinary, wala kang gamit, parehong-pareho. Matching hawig. So, pero sa laboratory, which you will be using, kuha. Falsified ang signature. Okay. All right. I wish you good luck in your profession. Finally. Thank you very much. Dean, salamat po. And people of the Philippines, thank you very much.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.